Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your brain. Not external occasions understand this, and you will track down strength in reality as we know it, where feelings can feel like violent waves. How would we view as our anchor? Go along with us as we investigate 7 apathetic examples that hold the way to dominating your feeling. Also, exploring life storms with unflinching purpose. Before we start, I would like if you love the video with the goal that you can assist me with proceeding, spreading the emotionless way of thinking on the off chance that you are not bought in. I suggest you to buy in and enact the chime, so you miss no video illustration. Number 1. What's in your control? Comprehend what's in your control. Have you at any point thought of yourself as trapped in a storm? Not the sort with downpours and thunder in any case. The tempests of life, unforeseen occasions, frustrations, or abrupt changes. The Stoics logicians from old Greece and Rome have an illustration that feels like an anchor in these tempests, the division of control. Picture this. You're arranging an outside occasion, and regardless of every one of your arrangements, it rains now. You have zero control over the climate, regardless of the amount you might want to. However, your response to the downpour is altogether dependent upon. You could mourn, get disappointed, or you could adjust, perhaps move the occasion inside, or see the downpour as an invigorating change. Epictetus, an indifferent thinker who was conceived a slave, and Rose became one of the most persuasive scholars of his time, put it compactly: a few things are in our control and others not. It sounds straightforward, right? Yet in this straightforwardness lies in a significant insight that can change our experiences consistently. We're confronted with a horde of circumstances. A few we can impact, like our day-to-day schedules, the books we read, or the organization we keep. However, many are outside our ability to understand worldwide occasions, the activities of others, the entry of time, and yes, the climate presently. Here's where it gets fascinating. The Stoics trusted that our prosperity doesn't rely upon outer occasions, however, on how we decipher and answer them. It's not the actual occasion, but rather our judgment about the occasion that causes our feelings. Recollect a period you confronted a mishap. Perhaps you didn't land that position you needed right now. It seemed like a catastrophe. However, with time, maybe you will understand it was a surprisingly good turn of events, driving you to a superior open door or individual development. Be that as it may, how would we set this up as a regular occurrence? Begin by asking yourself, is this something I have command over? In the event that the response is yes, make a move. If the answer is no, then it's an open door to practice acknowledgement and versatility. By genuinely understanding and incorporating this rule, we can free ourselves from pointless misery. We can explore an existence with a feeling of quiet knowing that while we have zero control over the breezes, we can change our sails in a world that frequently feels tumultuous. The division of control is a signal of clearness. It reminds us to concentrate our energy where it makes the biggest difference and to embrace the serenity and knowing that a few things are essentially outside our ability to comprehend, to reflect, prior to responding in the present computerized age, where promptness is in many cases praised. The specialty of reflection can appear to be a remnant of the past, yet it's this very demonstration of stopping also, considering that can our save effortlessness in a world that requests fast reactions. Consider the many times we're confronted with choices both of all shapes and sizes, from picking a dinner at a cafe to settling on a lifelong way. The range of decisions is immense, yet it's not only the extent of these choices that matters, it's how we move toward them. We should dig into a typical situation, perusing a message that strikes a nerve. Perhaps it's a partner scrutinizing your work or a companion making an impromptu remark. The stomach response may be preventiveness or outrage, however. Imagine a scenario where, rather than plunging carelessly into that close-to-home whirlpool, you made a stride back by permitting yourself that transitory separation. You're not smothering your feelings, you're giving them a space to inhale, to be perceived. This act of reflection isn't about latent acknowledgement or aversion. It's about dynamic commitment with our contemplations and sentiments. It's tied in with asking examining inquiries for, what good reason did this remark influence me so profoundly? What hidden convictions or past encounters are affecting my current feelings? Is my quick response based on the current circumstance or past stuff? Besides reflection before response, is an instrument that encourages compassion by giving ourselves time. We additionally permit ourselves to think about the points of view of others. Perhaps that partner had a distressing day, or on the other hand, that companion didn't understand the weight of their words by reflecting. We make the way for understanding for ourselves, as well as for everyone around us in connections. This training can be a foundation. The number of misconceptions that could be kept away from assuming we found opportunity to reflect prior to responding, the number of scaffolds that could be worked rather than consumed. It's in these intelligent minutes that we track down clearness, empathy, and association. Moreover, in proficient settings, the capacity to stop and contemplate is important. Pioneers who reflect previously, yet are many times more to decide, regarded and viable. They're viewed as insightful, estimated, and savvy. Their choices brought into the world from reflection frequently endure for the long haul in a world that frequently feels like it's moving at very quick speed. The demonstration of reflection turns into a type of defiance, calm, yet strong explanation that we won't be cleared away by the flows of quickness. It's a guarantee to ourselves, to our prosperity, and to the nature of our cooperations with the world. Fundamentally, to reflect prior to responding is something other than a training. It's a theory, a lifestyle that heroes profundity over broadness, understanding over impulsivity, and significant associations over brief connections. It's a venture internal, that significant outward suggestions molding not simply our reactions, yet the actual texture of our lives. 3. Practice dispassion. In a world that frequently feels like a profound roller coaster, the possibility of rehearsing dispassion could appear to be out of place. Be that as it may, how about we dive further into what it implies in the groundbreaking power it holds? Dispassion isn't about smothering feelings or becoming apathetic regarding our general surroundings. It's about developing a reasonable point of view, a quiet in the tempest in vision, having the option to notice occasions, circumstances, and surprisingly, your feelings without being overpowered by them. Contemplate the last time you watched a holding firm. There were snapshots of strain, fervor, perhaps bitterness while you were taking part in the story. Some portion of you generally realized it was only a film. You didn't hurry to help the legend or console the crying person. You noticed, you felt, however you stayed in your seat. This is the substance of rehearsing dispassion, being profoundly drawn in with life, feeling its numerous feelings, yet in addition knowing when to stay situated in the theater of your brain, seeing without becoming mixed up in the show. This approach turns into a help in our present-day time of data, overburdened consistently. We're barraged with news updates and notices. Responding energetically to each piece of data would leave us unendingly depleted. Dispassion offers a cradle approach to draw in with the world in a more economical, adjusted way. Dispassion likewise assumes a critical part in relational connections. We've all been in circumstances where discussions get warmed, where conflicts emerge at such times. Rehearsing dispassion can be the distinction between a useful conversation and a harming contention. It permits us to listen all the more actually, to answer, as opposed to respond, and to explore clashes with understanding. Furthermore, elegance developing dispassion begins with mindfulness, routinely checking in with ourselves, perceiving our profound triggers and grasping our examples, makes a space among boost and reaction. In that space lies the opportunity to pick our responses, to act with aim, as opposed to drive, and keeping in mind that dispassion could seem like separation from life's delights and delights. It improves them. By not being excessively connected to results, we can completely submerge ourselves in the venture, appreciating each experience without the steady apprehension about misfortune or change. Rehearsing dispassion is tied in with finding harmony in a consistently impacting world. A compass focuses on inward harmony, directing us through life's different landscapes with effortlessness. By embracing this training, we not just improve our own lives, yet additionally bring a feeling of quiet and clearness to those around us. Number 4. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Life is loaded up with minutes that test our understanding of versatility and point of view, from minor burdens like a spilled espresso to additional huge difficulties like conflicts with friends and family. Our days are accentuated by circumstances that summon a scope of feelings. Without giving it much thought, it's not difficult to get cleared up in the promptness of our sentiments. A missed cutoff time, a basic remark, or a failed commemoration can feel like the apocalypse be. That as it may, one strong inquiry can move our viewpoint and bring clearness. Will this matter in 5 years? This basic yet significant inquiry serves as a psychological time machine, moving us to the future and permitting us to look back right now out of nowhere that warmed contention or that a botched open door is found in a different light. A large portion of the things we worry about today will be neglected. Commentaries in the fabulous Account of Our Lives considers the difficulties and concerns you had. 5 a long time back, the number of them hold weight. Today, the number of have been eclipsed by new encounters, learnings, and recollections. This acknowledgement can humble. Furthermore, involving this inquiry as a customary standard aids in focusing on our interests. It helps us in recognizing present moment, mishaps, and long-haul suggestions for occurrence. While a terrible day at work may feel overpowering now, in the fabulous plan of things, it's only one day in a vocation crossing many years. This point of view additionally encourages versatility when confronted with misfortune. Reminding ourselves of the master plan can diminish nervousness and advanced issue addressing rather than getting impeded by the central issue. We can plan to adjust. What's more, push ahead, knowing that time frequently brings lucidity and arrangements. However, it's not just about limiting our interests. This question likewise urges us to center around the main thing, assuming we need our activities and choices to have enduring importance. We want to put resources into connections, self-awareness also, encounters that stand the trial of time in a world that frequently stresses the now. Will this matter in 5 years? Is a reference point directing us toward the existence of reason, viewpoint, and harmony. By routinely returning to this question, we can explore life's highs and lows with effortlessness. Guarantees that our energy and consideration are coordinated toward what genuinely counts. Number 5. Keep an emotionless diary. The demonstration of journaling has been celebrated across societies and stories, not similarly as a record of occasions, however as an instrument for contemplation, development, and clearness. The Stoics, with their accentuation on mindfulness and individual advancement, were no aliens to this training. Indifferent diary isn't just a journal of everyday happenings. It is space for reflection, for exchange with oneself, for taking apart feelings, choices, and responses. It's where the outside world meets the inner, where occasions are weighed against individual qualities and convictions. Envision finishing your day by relaxing what occurred, as well as how you answered for what reason did a specific remark upset you. What set off that explosion of satisfaction during an ordinary undertaking? By taking apart our day, we start to comprehend the examples of our mind. We begin to see the triggers that influence our mindset, the qualities that guide our choices, and the propensities that shape our days. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman ruler, and indifferent logicians kept a diary, which is currently known as Reflections. It wasn't implied for distribution. It was an individual discourse space for him to direct himself, to help himself to remember indifferent standards, and to explore the difficulties of his existence with insight through his works. We see a man wrestling with his obligations, his feelings, and his spot in the universe. Yet you don't need to be a sovereign to benefit from an emotionless diary. In our present-day lives are loaded up with interruptions. Furthermore, a consistent torrent of data-making opportunity for contemplation turns out to be much more vital. Everyday registration is an establishing custom that brings clearness amid turmoil over the long run. This training can prompt significant bits of knowledge. You could see that certain circumstances over and over cause pressure, inciting you to either address them or have an impact on your viewpoint. You could find that particular practices like appreciation, on the other hand, care raises your mindset, and viewpoint, the examples that arise, can act as a guide for self-awareness. Past bits of knowledge, an emotionless diary encourages responsibility. By focusing on everyday reflection, we consider ourselves responsible for our responses and choices. It becomes harder to overlook rehashed botches or to get over mental blunders. All things being equal, we're provoked to learn, adjust, and develop, Keeping an indifferent diary is like having a savvy, non-critical companion, close by, consistently prepared to pay attention, to reflect and direct. It's a promise of self-awareness, to grasping oneself better, and to carrying on with a daily existence lined up. With one's qualities also, standards. 6. Consider hindrances to be valuable. Open doors, the world is overflowing with difficulties, from individual misfortunes to worldwide disturbances. Snags are an intrinsic piece of the human experience. However, imagine a scenario where, rather than seeing these difficulties as weights, we considered them to be potential open doors, and camouflage Stoics held a strong point of view on difficulty. They trust that while we can't necessarily control the occasions that occur for us, we have some control over our translation and reaction to this change in context. Challenges from simple difficulties to important illustrations. A statement by the emotionless scholar Marcus Aurelius exemplifies this thought perfectly. The obstruction to activity propels activity. What disrupts the general flow turns into the way. This implies that each obstruction, each challenge can impel us forward if we decide to consider it to be a chance for development. Consider a waterway that experiences a rock in its way, rather than halting the stream views as the way around it, either by disintegrating the rock over the long haul or via cutting. A new way, the rock in clear snag turns into a problem solver, reshaping the stream's course comparatively. In our lives, difficulties can divert our ways, frequently driving us to results we hadn't envisioned. For example, an employment cutback, while at first destroying, could prompt another professional way, an opportunity to upskill, or even the open door to begin one's very own endeavor. A bombed relationship could make ready for self-improvement, self-disclosure, and more profound, more significant associations in what's in store. This unemotional viewpoint likewise cultivates versatility. When we begin seeing challenges as any open doors, we become more versatile and more able to confront affliction head-on. Rather than inquiring as to for what reason this event to us, we start to ask, what could at any point learn from how this experience shaped me to improve things? This doesn't mean we ought to search or excuse certifiable difficulties. It's tied in with perceiving that inside each challenge lies potential, a seed of chance. By supporting this seed with an inspirational outlook, persistence, and determination, we can change deterrence into venturing stones, driving us towards development, shrewdness, and satisfaction. 7. Practice. Appreciation in the immense embroidery of human feelings. Appreciation stands apart as a brilliant string, winding around snapshots of bliss, satisfaction, and point of view into our lives. While an inclination can emerge immediately, the Stoics had faith in the purposeful act of appreciation, making it an everyday custom to secure oneself in the present and value life's endowments. Appreciation is something beyond saying thank you. It's a profound affirmation of the hoard powers minutes and people that advance our lives. It's tied in with perceiving the excellence and the commonplace. The it even more valuable Seneca, a noticeable emotionless scholar, once said, "Genuine joy is to partake in the present without restless reliance upon what's to come." This typifies the embodiment of appreciation, being well established in the present, valuing each second, every experience, and each communication. Consider the basic delights. We frequently underestimate the glow of the sun on a cool day, the sound of giggling a feast imparted to friends and family, or the very breath that supports us. By stopping to recognize and appreciate these minutes, we amplify their excellence. Furthermore, importance in our lives, rehearsing appreciation likewise offers an offset to the human inclination to zero in on what's missing, on neglected wants, or on the other hand, on vulnerabilities about what's to come. By moving our concentration to what we have as opposed to what we need, we develop happiness, diminish sensations of jealousy or hatred, and improve our by and large prosperity. One could consider, how can one develop this training? It tends to be pretty much as basic as beginning or finishing the day by posting 3 things you're appreciative for. After some time, this training can change your standpoint, making you more open to life's favors and stronger despite challenges. Moreover, appreciation fortifies connections. By communicating appreciation for the thoughtful gestures, backing, or love we get from others, We must encourage shared regard and make a positive input circle of altruism and love in a world that frequently stresses more. More belongings, more accomplishments, more wants appreciation is a delicate sign of the overflow that as of now exists in our experiences. It's a call to commend the present, to embrace existence with great enthusiasm. Furthermore, to track the way of presence with a heart loaded with thanks. Outro. As the sun sets on one more day, we're left with the reverberations of old insight in our Kuto shape. Your tomorrow, we're anxious to hear your considerations and encounters. Share your bits of knowledge in the remarks underneath, and we should proceed with this excursion of self-disclosure together. I genuinely want to believe that you partook in the video, and I'm appreciative for you going along with us. And until next time, stay inquisitive, stay grounded, and seek constantly astuteness.